The ITK, like I said, is a social commentary podcast with aspirations to grow beyond a podcast, and we're already putting things in place to make that possible. Obviously, it's small, everything starts small, and I understand that. And it's not just me that is doing this. There are a number of people who are involved in the process. So why social commentary? Why media? Because there are aspects of media, or there are aspects of the way information is relayed that don't really detail the core issues that often I see issues overlooked, which I feel are important. I saw a number of issues being discussed and a number of issues that were neglected, and I'm like, oh, this is wrong. I want to change that. I told a number of people about it and they agreed with me and were like, okay, let's start something. Instead of just complaining about how things are, actually get up and try and do something to change the way things are. And that's a key word here, changing the way things are. A lot of people know the present situation of the world, but aren't interested in actually changing it because they feel that there is nothing you can do to change it. I don't share that kind of thought. I think if people actually feel they can change things and they encourage more people to feel that way, then things definitely will change. So that's briefly about the ITK. As time goes on, I will shed more light, but for now it's just, social commentary and a media group, a movement that hopes to change the way we discuss things. But as for me, my name is Djaji Prime. That's not my real name, obviously, but it is in relation to my real name. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. I'm a 20-year-old university student studying mechanical engineering, and I'm Nigerian, half Senegalese, which is why I talk a lot about Nigeria and Africa on this podcast. What else can I talk about? I have 2 YouTube channels, one called Djaji Prime and Djaji Prime Music. On Djaji Prime, I discuss, I try and give a breakdown of various African countries, their history, their government, their culture. Because, again, looking at the way things are, I noticed there was a common narrative about African countries that only highlighted certain aspects about them and neglected other aspects. So I was like, okay, instead of me just complaining about it, why don't I try and give my own, information, what I know or what I've researched about Africa, and try and educate as many people as possible. I also do a series called Talk to Prime, where I just give my opinion on things, kind of like what I do on the podcast, and I talk about historical figures. On the Djaji Prime Music, I do album and EP and mixtape reviews. I try to be as objective in my own way of looking at objectivity in music. I have certain criteria. Does the album have a theme? How's the production? What is the message of the album, and how I interpret it? So I try to be objective. I'm not just going to say, this is dope and this is trash. And that's basically who I am.